I'm sure that was unexpected, or was it for you this week?
Yeah, I mean, I don't follow it. And so when somebody told me about that, I wasn't shocked, but I didn't like it.
Yeah. So
No?
thank you for talking to me and being willing to share exactly why you might be involved. Would you be able to share that history with Chad that would make your name appear in some, I guess it was a past probation?
That's what I was told. So yeah, really it's involvement, but there was a time that Chad asked if he could speak with me. I mean, we're from the same town. He lives up the road a little bit. An acquaintance. I did not know him well, so he came over with a friend. They asked to speak with me away from my wife, which was a little odd. They took me to a place in my house, and he began to explain what he had been into and a pendulum, and he was asking these questions, and he told me what level of light I was and listed all these people that he thought that I was in what did you call it? Another probation. Um, anyway, an uncomfortable situation. I sat through it, listened to him, and that was about it. He called it family history. I remember a few of the people that he said that I was, which made me very uncomfortable. They told me that I was not to speak to my wife about it, and they left. And of course, I went straight to my wife about it. but,
Good
but
for you.
yeah, of course, yeah. But that honestly is the extent of it. I mean, at that point, we knew we didn't want to be involved with whatever he was about, and it was uncomfortable. But yeah, so the little bit that I read that somebody sent me, he had me listed as somebody else, but that was his doing. I mean, no consent on my part. But,
Okay.
but
Um,
yeah.
and he came over, would it be as a neighbor and a friend?
Yeah, well, they asked before if they could come over, not that they just wanted to speak with me. And I said that, yeah, they could come over. I kind of mentioned to you earlier, it felt like kind of a network marketing thing at the time. So you sit through it politely. And I mean, of course, at that point, he was just Chad, the neighbor. I mean, you know what I mean? Nobody knew any of the crazy behind the scenes. And so it wasn't anything out of the ordinary if somebody wanted to chat with you. But it quickly became uncomfortable in my mind. So like I said, I was polite through it. What are you going to do? Um, but I was happy when it ended.
That was a great explanation. No, thanks for explaining that. Yeah, I know exactly what
Yeah.
you mean. A neighbor comes over, you politely sit through whatever they're saying to you. And what was your wife's thoughts when she heard this?
Well, the same as mine. Just like we really don't want to be part of that. Like it's one of those things that you don't even know what to think about it. And it was a long time ago now, and so it's not like fresh on my mind. But both of us kind of felt the same way, that just we didn't want anything to do with that. And I find it interesting because we didn't even have to voice that. I mean, he never contacted me about that again. And so I guess he must have, I don't know, read the hint that we really weren't on board with all that, thankfully, because it wasn't something that we wanted to have anything to do with.
Interesting. So he never even reached out to you again after that.
One other time I talked to him, but not even about that. I ran into him in the community. It was a polite thing, but yeah, he never did. And so, but yeah, he told me that I was Andrew the Apostle, and I think it was Heber Kimball. He listed a bunch of others. Yeah, and I remember even what level of light he said. The only reason I remember it is because it's my birth date. So it was like a 5-2, and he was trying to explain all this stuff that very uncomfortable. It just wasn't resonating with me.
You were pretty light too. Congratulations.
Is that a
Um,
good number? I don't even
yeah,
know.
yeah. As far as Chad's rating system goes, complete with decimal points, that's pretty great. It's pretty up there.
Wow, that's good to know, I guess. Maybe considering who the teacher is, I don't know if I like it.
um, did you say that he had the pendulum there with him?
He did not. He told me about it, that he was at his church calling and he stumbled upon it at church and started to ask it questions or something. And that's how he got his information. And no, he didn't have it with him. If
He actually told you this story. I've heard this story from multiple other places now, that he found the pendulum, and
yeah.
he's reiterating this to you, that he found this.
Yeah, he did say that. I don't remember the details, but something. He was at church waiting for the bishop to do interviews, and he came across, I don't know if it was a necklace or something, but he used it as a pendulum. Yep.
And that's where he got the answer about your past lives. Is that correct?
That's what he said about all that he was doing. And he, like I said, he said it was family history and something about they were going up to BYU Idaho campus and they were recording this. And anyway, bits and pieces that I remember, but yeah, I don't know. Honestly, you probably know more about it than I do, but
yeah, but what you know is very helpful. Thank you for
I
sharing.
hope so.
I'm sure you couldn't imagine then what ended up happening.
No.
Do you have any perspective on what happened, or would you like to plead the fifth on that? Or
I really don't even have perspective. It's not that I would just plead the fifth. It's horrible. I mean, it's tragic. I can't imagine being led that far in a direction that anyone would think that that was okay in any way. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like anyone would, just sick about it. I mean, how can you not, but shocked. I think everybody was shocked. It's just, I don't know. These are things that bad movies are made of. It's not supposed to be reality, but
especially in your hometown. Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah, I think everybody's shocked, tragic in every way. I don't know.
Can you give any, clearly you weren't very involved, but can you give any idea, were there Chad followers or are there sort of followers of this belief system still in Rexburg?
I believe, yes. We try not to get too involved in that, but I believe, yes. As far as backing that up, I can't exactly say, I don't know, but I think that it caused a lot of stir with a lot of people in a community, I don't know.
No, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And it's one thing to not want to be involved, but it's another to share the truth too, so that we can stop, things or expose things. So thank you. I'm sure it's not comfortable to talk about something you don't believe in and don't want to be a part of, but I also appreciate you not, pretending it doesn't exist either.
I think it's there, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think people take a little truth and it gets so mingled with garbage and they forget what they're even following in the first place. I don't know. It's very, very sad.
Well said. Is there anything you would like to make clear again? Your name is out there. Thousands of people are reading your name. Is there anything else you want to say about this and about your name being associated with this?
It's not, I appreciate you asking, and it's not just about me, but I mean, I'm repulsed by what happened. I think most people are. If they're not, they should be. And so to even be considered as part of that belief system or anything with it's repulsing. I don't mean to keep using that word, but I would just ask everyone to take a grain of salt for everyone's name that happens to come up on there, because it doesn't mean that they were involved. Just because it's part of his delusion and he recorded a name doesn't make that person or people have anything to do with him, and maybe some of them are involved with what was going on, but I'm believing there's probably more than me that wasn't. Just because he spoke with me once doesn't mean anything. And I'm sure there's others in that same situation that may not even know that their name's out there. But I mean, I only read a few of the comments. I'm not one to be easily offended, but it's interesting how quickly people jump on the bandwagon of, oh, they must be involved in this or this. And they look up. I'm into natural medicine, which had nothing to do with Chad. It was way before I knew his name, but all of a sudden that becomes something like a witch hunt, like, oh, they must be into weird things as well. But I mean, be careful of the judgment, I guess, because there's probably a lot of people on a lot of papers that have nothing to do with Chad. I would think if he was doing what he calls quote unquote family history, he was filling names in with all sorts of people. And so that doesn't mean they're involved, I guess. But
I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. I think what you said resonates a lot with me. Just because somebody's name is thrown out there doesn't mean that they're involved, and it doesn't mean that they're a part of this belief system. And I will make sure that message from you gets out. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the victims of this tragedy?
I'm so sorry for them, for everyone involved that's hurt. I mean, I can't even imagine, I didn't know them, and I feel like a little bit through media, we've all got to know and care about them a little, but I can't even imagine. I mean, as a parent, as anyone that's ever loved a child, I can't imagine. So I'm so sorry. I can't wrap my head around it. So I don't have eloquent words to express how sorry I am to the family members and the victims.
Thank you, Destin. I appreciate it.